In the midst of still stunning disbelief, the living grope through somber funeral rites. A scene repeated over and over again in the days that followed. A scene that was, in many places, unbelievable, where toppled tombstones mark the course of the storm and debris litters the cemeteries. The Palm Sunday twisters ripped 3 general paths across northern and central Indiana. Each of the 3 series of tornadoes began their destructive rampages approximately 1 hour apart. Shortly before 6 p.m. in the northern part of the state, towering thunderheads lowered their deadly funnels onto the ground in southern LaPorte County. Heading on a northeasterly course, the twisters smashed into the communities of Kuntz Lake, La Paz, Lakeville, Wyatt, Dunlap, Shipshewana, and then crossed the state line into Michigan. About 7 o'clock, some 90 miles south of the first line, tornadoes dipped down and blasted their way eastward across the central part of the state, striking first at Odell, then Mulberry, Moran, Middle Fork, Rusheville, Alto, Kokomo, Greentown, Swayze, Marion, Dundee, Lynn Grove, Bern, and then crossed into Ohio. The third and last line of tornadoes originated little more than 20 miles southeast of Odell, striking first near Mace, then smashing an eastbound path through Shannondale, Dover, north of Lebanon, Sheridan, and Arcadia. Then the funnels lifted. In the span of little more than 3 hours, Hoosiers in 17 counties and in scores of cities, towns, villages, and farms had seen the raging blackness bearing down on them, heard the deafening roar, and felt the agonizing pain and helplessness as their homes exploded into worthless debris around them. The sound, the fury, and the death was upon them. When it was over, 139 of them lay dead. More than 1,000 were injured. Nearly 2,000 motor vehicles totally destroyed. The other property damage was too unbelievable to comprehend. The loss would run into the millions of dollars. Never before had so many persons lost their life in any kind of tragedy in Indiana. Never before had there been so many tornadoes in a single day. Never before such widespread destruction. While the scars of the storms are still fresh on the land, the President comes to see for himself what damage has been done, to console the victims and to offer whatever services of the federal government are needed. He is met and welcomed by the governor. Along on the inspection tour are Indiana's United States senators. Even the President, who has been witness to the aftermath of many natural and man-made disasters, is unprepared for what he sees. Later, after the President leaves, rescue workers discover the body of a young victim beneath the rubble, where only hours before the chief executive had passed close by. The President's words, spoken at the site of total destruction, are still remembered. Horrible, horrible. Rushville. The death and injury toll was far worse in other places around the state, but here there was a special kind of tragedy. Here nature tried to kill a town. The devastating twisters touched every part of the community. The business district, the familiar small town shops and stores, even the fire department. Destroyed. Every home, every building hit. Most destroyed. Many smashed beyond repair. Only a handful of houses escaped with minor damages. The trees that shaded the quiet homes and sidewalks for generation upon generation stripped and uprooted. The State Department of Correction brings inmates from the state prisons to help clean up the debris. The prisoners, sympathetic to the plight of the tornado victims, work hard to do the most they can, and their help is deeply appreciated by the townspeople. Coatesville, a similar-sized community in west central Indiana, was destroyed by a Good Friday tornado in 1948 and was rebuilt. The citizens of Rushville now face the same long, hard job of rebuilding. Many will succeed, but for some others, it is too late. Out of the confusion and uncertainty that marked the afternoon of Palm Sunday, none perhaps was more pronounced than that of the several different weather bureaus attempting to alert Hoosiers to the storm conditions. The Weather Bureau has for a long time used the two terms forecast and warning. On that day, few, if any, people knew the meaning or the difference between the two terms. In the planning that is now going on to avoid death and injury in tornadoes yet to be born, the two terms will still be used. It is vitally important that everyone now know what they mean exactly. Forecast is a term that is applied when weather conditions are such that severe storms are predicted with the possibility of tornadoes. The term warning is applied when a tornado has actually been seen and reported. On the morning of Easter Sunday, the teardown, the cleanup, the rebuilding stops. The faithful look for special aid and comfort that can only be found through prayers. Their churches have been battered by the storms. Some have been destroyed. Several different faiths share the churches that were spared. The worshipers pause, some to give thanks that they and their loved ones were spared, and some to ponder their grief. Although sightseers were discouraged, the lure of seeing firsthand one of the Midwest's worst disasters proved too strong to resist. Main highways were jammed with long lines of traffic, but the delays proved only temporary, and to the everlasting credit of those who came to look, they left behind thousands of dollars in donations, money that would be used to help replace a variety of human needs, from fire trucks to window paint.